Hello, and welcome back to the ministry. And now we can talk about the fun stuff. The Lord has been putting several songs on my heart as of recently, and I wanted to do a quick recap of them. The first song, before I even get into that, a lot of these songs are songs that I used to listen to like 20 years ago. Like 20 years ago. These were not songs that I listened to recently. These are songs that I listened to when I was a teenager in high school. I know, I look young. I'm 35. But, yeah. And I'm getting the feeling that it's almost like God is doing a redo. He's giving you the feelings of love and caring as he's preparing you for these marriages, that he's taking you back to the purity of what love felt like to you before your heart was hurt. He brought me the first song that I'm going to talk about, which is Christina Milian, Love, the solo version. I'm hearing the verse, things about to change. I don't just give my heart away, because when I do, it's going to be forever. A lot of you have been in previous relationships where you thought you was in a relationship with the one that was going to be forever. And that wasn't one. But this one that God's about to bring into your life is going to be the one. And the Lord is saying, yes, this is going to be that forever person. The next song is Angie Stone and Calvin. I believe it's called More Than a Woman. And in it is a conversation between two lovers that talk about, you stood by me during the hard times. Some of y'all stood by your partners during some of the hardest times in their lives. And because of that, that's why they're going to marry you. That's why they're coming back to marry you. That's why all of these things are about to occur in your life for the good. And they've been thinking about putting a ring on it. The next song is, I'm trying to think because it's a lot that I can go into, but the next one that I'm feeling, for those of you that have been feeling a little bit chaotic in your mind because God's telling you this person is your spouse, and you ain't seeing no signs, no nothing from this person, and you like, God, what in the world are you talking about? But he keeps bringing the person's name up, he keeps bringing their face up, it's like, either I'm going crazy or this person really is my person. I keep thinking of the line from that old Jay-Z song. Either this is love or I'm caught in the matrix. Because that's what it feels like. The song I'm thinking of right now, and don't get on me, but Lord put it on my heart to go listen to this song. LMA DFMU clean version. Look up the clean version. Don't sit up there and say, oh, she listened to the song with the cuss words in it. I don't listen to songs with curse words in it if I can avoid it. I listen to the clean version. And if you listen to the clean version, you will get the mindset. For those of us that have been waiting, is exactly how we felt and have been feeling. She's talking about how, I don't know how you came up out of nowhere, swoop in, and you done messed my head up. You done messed my mind up. I don't even know what this is. And I'm just waiting for you to say something. And she talking about don't mess this up. Because a lot of us are sitting there like, man, especially those of y'all that are waiting on prodigal men that you know been out there in the world doing all kinds of stuff. Dude, don't mess this up when you show up. Okay. And since we on LMA, let's move to the next LMA. Babyface and LMA. Falling in love. Falling in love is like on repeat in my brain. I'm like, what is with this song? Oh my God. It just keep coming back to me. The chorus, falling in love. And Babyface talking about you're the kind of girl to make the world go round. You are the central orbit of this man's life. The world don't go around if you ain't in it. He confused. He don't know what to do if you're not in his world. He is a mess. But you also are that chick, no matter what in the world is going on in their life, that you hold them down when they're a mess. What have we been doing in prayer? Holding these men down in prayer. For those of y'all that been in prayer over yours. Because I know I've been in prayer over mine. What's the next one? The other day I got real heavy. I woke up in the middle of the night and I heard Angie Stone. Not the song, but the chorus of this song. I can't eat. I can't sleep anymore. Waiting for love to walk through the door. I wish I didn't miss you anymore. Some of these men have been, and I know we've all heard everybody be saying it in their words. They've been saying these men have not been able to sleep. They have not been able to eat. They ain't been able to focus. They've been able to get only enough of what they needed to get done. And complete. Outside of that, you have been on their thought processes. Because God got them in a space. Oh, you going to do something. Get it in order and I'll let it go. You got them in that phase of get it in order, I'll let it go. The quicker you get it in order, the less this has to happen. They know how to function. But you on their mind the rest of that 24/7. How do I know? If I was allowed to show you the amount of times that this man's name show up in my day on a daily basis, usually when that happens, that means that you're on their thoughts. All day, every day. Random places. Then when I'm not paying attention to reading anything, oh look, somebody on television who happens to be in some old TV show my dad's watching happens to say the exact man's name. First, last, or middle. And I'm sitting there like, really? I'm like, okay. So, yeah, they can't stop thinking about you. Next, several months back, it ain't been that many months, maybe 2, 3. Dr. G, Keys to the Kingdom, did a word talking about you give them butterflies. I was watching the movie, The Perfect Match, and the person mentioned Michael Jackson's Butterflies. I ain't thought about this song in years. I ain't played this song in years. Years. I don't listen to Michael Jackson music like that anymore like I used to. Yeah, I heard very clearly the verse from the song Butterflies by Michael Jackson. I can feel your touch, your kiss, and I wish that I could be with you tonight because you give me butterflies. Your spouses are fantasizing of when they finally get a chance to meet up with you because you give them butterflies. And because they got butterflies, some of them have been so nervous, that is why they have not said anything yet. I don't even know how this happened. I must have been on Instagram, and I got a link to an interview my guy did. And in it, he was talking about how shy he was. And I was like, no way, this man is shy. Because there's nothing about his demeanor. And then I'm like, wait a minute. When you think about it, yeah. Because he's very outgoing and very extroverted. You wouldn't think it. But then in some photos, it's like, oh, okay. Y'all called him when he wasn't prepped for y'all to take that photo. So you saw the shyness, yeah. So, yeah. What's the other song? There's another one. Oh, there you were. Talks about going through storms and wild seas, the clouds being drawn back, and finally seeing the person that your heart has waited for the longest. There you are. There you are. Finally, there you are. Some of us, it's like, for all that we've gone through, the fighting that we've gone through, the spiritual warfare we've gone through, having spiritually been in the clouds in warfare, dealing with the storms of life on a day-to-day basis, praying and standing for these relationships. And then the fact of that moment, the moment when God removes the veil and removes the wall that's between y'all and the spirit and allows the two of y'all to finally see each other. Because he's been doing it in the spirit, but he's finally going to allow it to actually really happen literally in your lives. And when that happens, that there you are moment. Is there something else before I cut this off? Because I don't need to belabor every single song. Oh, for those of you that the Lord has shown you and repetitively told you over and 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 over again that this person's been watching you. They've been watching you. They've been had an eye on you. Here's two songs. Temptations. Is it Just My Imagination is the name of the song? I know that's part of it. It's just my imagination. Once again running away with me. Is it just my imagination running away with me? The song starts. If I had a girl like her. He's looking out his window. Each day through my window, I'll watch her as she passes by. I watch her. Some of y'all's men been watching you. I don't care where they been watching you. Some of y'all, they may be that close that they can look out their window and see you. Some of y'all, the window is this device right here. That's their window to you. If you want social media, they got you. But how? I ain't seen it. They know how to do it. But they've been watching. And the second one, Groove With You by the Isley Brothers. Ooh, I've been hearing this one like crazy. I was listening to it last night. I've been watching you. You've been watching me. It's time for us. Let me get these words right, because I know that wasn't the right way to say that. Let me see. Something irritating my throat. Okay. I've been thinking about you. You've been thinking about you. You've been thinking about me. I'll give all that I have. Oh, let's be fair. I think it's time we clear the air. These men have been thinking about you so much that they're like, I've been thinking about you, and I know that you are thinking about me. I know that we are both in this same headspace. It's just about that time for me to say something to you, and we gonna sit here and we gonna clear this air about this thing, this relationship. I don't know who it was recently. He said, y'all first conversation, it's gonna be about 3-4 hours, cause they gonna get on the phone with you and they not gonna want to get off, because they gonna be like, wait, I need to see and make sure that this is the person, that this is the thing. The more that they find out everything's in order, they're like, oh, okay. Because we gonna sit here and we gonna clear this air right here. I've been watching you. You've been watching me. I know you've been wanting to, well, of course, groove. They've been waiting for us to say something. It's not our job. We aren't the ones that's supposed to say anything. You've been thinking of this time. And what I wouldn't do to groove with you. Just spending my day with you. But that was the part that the Lord was giving me the utterance to say about. They've been thinking about you. Who was it? There were 3 words that the Lord showed me. Loving, Loving Ministries by Ray or Loving Words by Ray. She did a video called I'ma Marry You, where in it she was talking about there was a dream where the guy was watching the girl. And she's doing her day-to-day, whatever it is, getting ready, getting dressed, so on and so forth. And the guy is sitting on the couch behind her, and she doesn't even recognize that he's watching her. And he said, yeah. He said, they're thinking to himself, yeah, I'll marry you. That's one word. Dr. G Keys to the Kingdom several months back did a word called they see you or they're watching you, where she talks about they've been watching you, and she gives 3 different scenarios as to how these men been watching. And then Ray did another word saying that they are observing you, meaning they have been observing you and observing you for a while. They're watching you. A lot of them have been watching because they seriously do not know how to approach you, because they're like, we've been walking with God in a very specific way, especially with these words. We've been getting clarity, and God's been guiding us through with these words. Because if we didn't have these words, sometimes we would be sitting there thinking we crazy. But they've been going without these words, and they're like, am I crazy to think that this person has any interest in me? They don't know me. How do I know that they know me and I know them? How? Like, is this legit? For real? And the Lord is saying they've been watching. I have known for, it's gotta be 2 years now, because it was a year before I left New York that I knew that the person was watching, because I've been getting these types of words for at least 2 years. They've been watching you, they're watching you, they're watching you, they're watching you, they're watching you. And matter of factly, this is how God confirmed it to me outside of that. I was walking down the street one day when I was in New York. I was walking through Brooklyn, and I had crossed the street, and I saw these 2 girls, and they were talking as I was passing by, and they said something like, yeah, he knows he's watching, or yeah, he knows he's something. And I'm like, wait, what? Because in my mind, I was like, what? Which brings me to my next song that I was going to leave out of this one. Matrimony by Wale. Specifically the Usher verse that talks about, I've been making plans. These men's been planning for you. I never heard that song until one day I was sitting on the step on the side of the Whole Foods in New York, and somebody came up blaring this song. And when I tell you, I lie to you not, when I used to sit in that area all the time, the last few months I used to sit there when I would go outside and just sit in from June to August. Every time I went to sit there, somebody came to either sit next to me or sit within a vantage point of me, and they were talking about, oh, I'm going to a wedding. Oh, my sister's getting married. Oh, my this is happening. Oh, and then this guy, he comes up with a speaker blasting Wale's Matrimony. I'm like, what? I had never heard this song a day in my life, and I'm like, okay, God. Okay, I hear you. That was 2 years ago. And sometime, I lie to you not. There was one time I was walking, and I felt like, is somebody watching me? Some of these men probably have been watching you. And I ain't even gonna lie. I remember, I just happened to be scrolling Instagram, and God does this to me with my God dated spouse all the time. Sometimes I'm not looking for him on Instagram. The very first post, his. I'm like, really? Sometimes I'll be listening to something on YouTube and have that window at the bottom of my phone, and I'll go on to Instagram, very first post of his wonderful smiling face. And in this particular photograph, he was riding a bike. I was like, and I'm like, and this isn't the first time I've seen a photo of him. Right, this particular photo was a direct shot that he took of himself riding the bike. I seen other people take pictures of him riding a bike, and I was like, if you weren't looking, especially the type of person that he is, if you're not looking, that person could literally had ridden on his bike right past me. I would never noticed. Especially during that time, I had a lot going on in my life. So I could literally have crossed the street in front of him, would never have noticed because I wouldn't be looking for him on a bike. I don't know what his car looked like. He could have drove right past me. I wouldn't have known it. And God has a way that he will consistently bring you up. You may not know, but they may. So I'm just flowing with y'all. You understand what I'm saying? So don't think God hasn't been dealing with these people. Tiffany Montgomery did a word, which reminds me, when I get off here, I'm gonna have to get over there because she coming on today. She did a word where she had released a word over a woman's life, and the day that the woman met her husband, the woman had went to this shop. She wasn't planning to be there, and the guy that she ended up marrying, he showed up. He had already left this job. He just happened to come back for something this day and ran into her. He was never supposed to come back to that place. If they hadn't met in that moment on that day, I'm sure God could have gotten them together in another point in time. But the way that it happened, he wasn't never supposed to be there. It was another young woman I was listening to. I don't know whether it was Pozoleto or Owe Temple. They had a dream that uh it was a person was in a yard somewhere, and they turned around and the guy was standing on the other side of the fence looking confused. And when they walked up, they're like, I don't know how I got here. Some of your God day spouses, God's going to spin their plans around just so they'll run into you. And some of you is going to be the same thing. God's going to spin your plans around. So if you find that during a day that you have a very specific schedule and God messes it up, and you be thinking that you probably be thinking it's the devil messing it up, it may be the day that God's going to introduce you to your spouse, because he's messed their day up and your day up, and y'all going to end up running into each other. Because he specifically orchestrated it that the two of y'all ran into each other. So simmer on that. I hope this blessed you, because I know the other words was a little bit heated and heavy. But yeah. So digest, Speak to the Lord. Take it back to Jesus, because not everything's for you. But I hope this blessed you. Until next time.